bringing a surge of energy to the airwaves. This is the Clarkcast with Matt Clark.
Saving the Republic, one broadcast at a time. My name is Matt Clark. This is the Clarkcast, broadcasting from Cincinnati, from the Cincinnati Tea Party 2014 Tax Day Rally, or as I've been joking, Liberal Charity Day here in Cincinnati, Ohio, which is very applicable because this is the heart, the core, the soul of the IRS scandal. And joining me right next to me right here is at Doc Thompson Show, or better known as Doc Thompson from the Blaze Radio Network. Doc, welcome, sir. It's again, I get to speak to you next to each other in the same place here, so I'm honored.
I was told there'd be a check waiting for me.
No, there is an open bar, though. I did arrange that for you.
Okay, good. Then, yeah, I'm all set to talk then.
Just as good as a check. Just as good. Well, welcome, sir. How have you been?
Thank you so much. I've been doing well. I'm just, town to town, up and down the dial, talking, getting it done, saving the Republic. We're here.
Congratulations on the, is that public news? Can I say? Okay,
Sure.
Congratulations on the child to be. I wasn't sure if that was for public consumption.
Yeah, no, that's public. Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it, yeah.
Well, tell me what's going on your end.
We got our Tea Party documentary coming out in a couple of weeks, May 6th. Official Tea Party documentary called Intolerable. It's going to be big. You can go to intolerable.us. So we've got a lot of side projects, a bunch of them coming after that. So I've just started this content company to provide content, whether it's movies, film, music, whatever it is, and we'll roll more and more out in the future.
It's absolutely fantastic. Now, you were at WAAM. Your microphone's dropping there. You were at WAAM, what was that, 2, 3, 4 months ago, something like that? And you were on the road filming this documentary, and now all the filming's done. It's in production, post-production.
Yeah, we were in Ypsilanti and shot some people out there, whatever. And right now, we are in the final post-production phases, putting the final pieces together so we can release it. We're making it for free. I want as many people to see it as possible. It'll be online at intolerable.us. I'm a capitalist, so we'll take some donations as well if you want to donate. But as it stands, it will be released free, and we hope people will share it with everybody. But it's going to be good. I think it'll finally tell the true tale of the Tea Party.
That's absolutely fantastic, and that tale needs to be brought out because, as you know, I mean, you're no stranger to this. The mainstream media will paint the Tea Party as, well, let's see, how many people here have guns? They're shooting them up in the air wildly, and I do believe there's anarchy inside the conference hall right now. I could be wrong. I'm not sure.
It'll be pretty cool when you see it because we address a lot of those things too. We take it back to where the name comes from. The Boston Tea Party, touch a little history, show how the thing really got ginned up in 2008, under Bush, and dispel some of the rumors, and then end on some really positive notes of what the Tea Party really stands for and what they're really about.
Excellent. Doc, right here is my cell phone. I know you have a cell phone right there, and I brought this up with Rich. This is not an original thought. Andrew Breitbart brought this up. This right here is the camera for every new media journalist out there, every single person out there. Speak a little bit to how important is it for maybe somebody who doesn't have the full power of a production company behind them, but just insert some generic person to go out there, start filming stuff, and start talking about it, blogging about it, and just getting the word out there about liberty and freedom.
You know what? You're absolutely right about that, but it goes beyond that. Whether you're just somebody who wants to be involved, showing what's going on, you want to be a blogger, or whether you want to be an entrepreneur, it's like never before in history can you go out and do if you only will do. You don't have to have a whole lot of money to do it. It's just your own imagination and the time invested. One of the side notes, we went town to town filming the documentary, is we ran into all of these entrepreneurs, and they kept saying virtually the same things in their own words. This entrepreneurial spirit, and I just kept looking at Skip and some other people. I'm like, do you hear they're saying the same thing? And it's not just about business. It's about the spirit that goes into starting your own business, and that is hard work and creativity, and whatever you can dream, you can do.
And that's the American dream right there.
Exactly. So we all should be dreaming and working hard and doing.
And to take it a step further, that's why everybody's here, is to, one, not only embrace the American dream, but also to say we are sick and tired of all of the roadblocks, the hurdles, the obstacles that the government, the regulations, all the above, putting in place so I can't even get to my American dream because of those roadblocks.
Exactly. And that's what it's all about.
Yes, it's the man in the front right there.
Doc, you have about 200 people in here waiting on you.
Oh, they're not waiting on me.
What's more important?
All right, I'm out of here. I'll talk to you later.
Doc, pleasure, sir. We'll catch up later there. But that's exactly right. The American dream. What is the American dream about, and how do we continue to really embrace the American dream and go for it right there? So
here, I'll fill in for him.
So I thought this radio show is more important than all the people inside the conference.
Well, it is. But
I want to revisit my contract here. I want to make sure it's clear that
you hear
the
all
radio
those people
show...
cheering? Can you hear that over the air? Doc just walked in the room.
Have you had a sneak peek of the documentary that he's doing so far?
No, I have not seen all the little clips to it. I know what he's been doing. Traveling across the country, picking up footage from all these Tea Party groups to show what we were talking about earlier. how the burning embers under the fire are still burning very warmly. And that's what his Tea Party documentary sounds like. It's going to be cut together to kind of resemble that. That's quite amazing. It's about time that happens. You know, this stuff's been around 2009, really officially. It's still an infant type thought process in American conscious, but it's only 5 years old.
And it's still going. I mean, it's still going. And it is so important to get this message out and to really embrace what Doc was talking about, the American dream. It's not cliche to say that, and it's not simplistic to say that. There's something very important about what is the American dream. And as I told Doc here, why these people are railing, what is this about? It's not just about taxes. It's not just about having to fork over X amount of money. It's about all the regulations and all the hurdles in front of us that we can't even get to our American dream now.
Precisely. And I think that's what his documentary that he's talking about will illuminate, is that these Tea Party groups across the nation are still fighting for that American dream.
Right.
We're fighting for the right to even pursue it. And one thing that I've learned over the last, I mean, I've always sort of known it instinctively. My wife and I were married in April 30th. 1989. On our honeymoon, she bought me this belt buckle in Gatlinburg, Tennessee, that was very patriotic, and I've always had an affinity for it. But when I was young, I had no idea why. Just knew that the imagery and the idea of patriotism meant something to me, but I didn't have context to it. And one thing I've learned over the last 5 years is what that context is, and it's really to have the right to fight, to have the American dream, to pursue your own happiness and freedom. And what you take for granted is that there's so many places in the world, and we've talked about American exceptionalism on this show a lot, and you know it always stirs up a lot of people that just say you can't say that. You know, America's not exceptional. It sure as hell is. We are a very exceptional nation, and it's because it's built on an idea of freedom. And that's something that most of the nations of the world who want to have micromanaged governments that oversee people in a tyrannical way, you know, where you have a top-down dictatorship type thing, a monarchy or whatever, that kind of mentality still exists throughout most of the world. I don't care if you go to the local village in Kenya or you're going to the House of Lords in England. It's all the same basic mentality. You have people who want to impose themselves upon you and tell you how you're supposed to live and how you're supposed to, you know, do everything in your life. And that isn't the American dream. The American dream is everybody's individual love to wake up in the morning and do what they want to do with their life and become what they want to become. There's too many places in the world where that's not possible.
And we're seeing here in the country right now, some may say this is a little bit too harsh or maybe too much rhetoric to say something like this. The conditions are being brought forth in this country now where we are becoming those countries where you cannot pursue your dream, where you have to go over obstacles and hurdles that did not exist 10, 20, 30, 40 years ago. And this is something that is above both political parties. It's not a Republican issue. It's not a Democrat issue.
It's not.
American exceptionalism is a very applicable, it's a very appropriate term, and it's a very real term. You know, the president was once asked about American exceptionalism, and his response was, I believe in American exceptionalism as much as the Greeks. The Greeks believe in Greek exceptionalism, showing that he knows absolutely nothing about it.
Well, and can you really expect him to? And I don't want to get on the whole birther thing, but the guy was raised in Jakarta.
Regardless of where he was born, he wasn't raised in the continental United States, right. And then he was not even raised inside the United States in general for a good majority of his youth.
So he clearly doesn't understand.
Right, regardless of his birth.
Right.
Regardless of his birth.
That's not why I'm bringing it up.
Yeah.
But he went to public school in a foreign land. He was taught foreign ideas, and then he came here as a child looking for some father figures in his life, and he grew up in Hawaii. Hawaii's not exactly Main Street USA. It's a nice place, but you know you're not exactly going to get the essence of the farmlands of Iowa or in Kansas and baseball in a Nebraska evening.
Yeah, to put it into perspective, he did not even step onto the continental United States, the mainland, until he went to college. And then once he went to college, that's where, according to his own words, his own book, he hung out with the Marxist professors and the punk rock poets, or a whole slew of far leftist ideologies, because that's what he related to, and that relation came from his youth, as you just pointed out.
Yeah, I mean, you pretty much, his youth defined who he is. And it doesn't make him a bad person. I think he's probably a decent father, probably a loving husband, I think. But his ideas are messed up. He's not wired the way you and I are, or the way the people at this rally are.
Exactly. And, again, this is not to personally attack the man, as you said, and rightfully so. He seems like a good father. He seems like a good husband. I don't know. That's a personal thing that I'm not going to attack. But when you look at the man's 1, background, 2, his upbringing, and 3, where he is taking us right now, it is not about the American dream, and it's all about putting up those obstacles and those hurdles that these people here are rallying against.
Right. He doesn't represent me. And his party doesn't represent me. And for that matter, CNN doesn't represent me.
Or the Republicans, for the
most
part.
Republicans don't represent me. What does represent me is WAAM. You represent me.
I'm here for you, brother.
I'm glad you're here for me. The Clark Cast. These are the things that I could identify with. At least they're out there, and it's a celebration of the fact that we can actually do that because we have freedom of speech.
Right.
That we're even here.
Rich, thanks very much for joining me again. Thanks for listening to this week's edition of the ClarkCast radio program. As always, check out my website, www.clarkcast.com, for show highlights and more. If you want to catch more of this particular broadcast, go to my website for additional audio. I'll catch you next week.
This is the ClarkCast with Matt Clark.